What is up, winning team? Hello. I wanted to do this video as a bit of like a life update because I don't know, my channel has become me documenting my journey to try and, do the unthinkable, the unbelievable, the impossible, because I am a daughter of the Most High. So this is a part of it. We made this agreement. I'd said to the Lord, I was like, God, if you just start doing things in my life, I'm going to document it for the people so they can get to see you and you get to get the glory and people get to see the story and get to see that you are who you said you are. So I'm making a life update. Sorry, it's just always weird for me to make these videos. Like, I still find it really weird talking about myself to literally anyone. I just feel like it doesn't matter, but it does matter. So anyway, this is for the people who are interested. Okay, sorry, I was just looking at a notification. Because we're developing. I'm getting my Bible set up for my next thing. This is on a different phone. We're developing. That's basically where this video is going. So after all was said and done, with this whole Italy malarkey, me not flying, me staying, and then me having the 4 days of hell of just being alone with my thoughts, whilst also being that time of the month. It's always in these times where, when the Bible talks about, being purified, and how gold is purified by fire, to get the oil out of the olive must be crushed. God prunes. It talks in John 15 in the Bible about how God, how Jesus is the vine, right? And God is the vine dresser. And we're all branches off of, the vine, right? But then what happens to you? You either get cut off because you ain't producing no fruits, or you get pruned. So basically, whatever happens, there's always going to be the times where the Lord is going to let the heat just turn all the way up to just bring you to another level. And I feel like that's where we're at now. I'm still kind of crashing into it. I've been having this ongoing crash out, which I feel like is a part of it. Because every time I crash out about stuff, I tend to then go and make big and bold decisions that make changes, such as like when I had the crash out about social media a couple years back is when I decided in the middle of the video to change this channel to The Winning Team, to calling it The Winning Team. You guys have seen I just make these impulsive choices. And all of a sudden, like, I impulsively decided to go to Poland because I was like, the heck, I want to do something. I need to do something. So one of the decisions that I made in the interim, or I was thinking about in the last couple of months, is I've been thinking I need to just revamp my life. You know what I mean? I need to revamp when I say my life, I'm also mean like the ways I've been doing things. So like I want to get a new Bible. I feel like that Bible is so connected to just a lot of pain. And I just want a new Bible, like that doesn't have my old writings in it, that I can't like remember all the tears that were in the pages. You know what I'm saying? I love that Bible, but it's just like I need to just move past that. You know what I mean? I know that must sound weird, but I remember going to buy it. I remember, I was there in London. I went into Waterstones. I was like, Holy Spirit, please tell me which Bible I should get, and I just kind of went with the flow. And me and that Bible, it's been like, it's a part of how me and the Lord have been together, you know what I mean? And the Holy Spirit. And I just feel like with you guys, I have this like set of things that are like my little safety blanket, you guys, my tripod, my Bible, my notebook, and, and then God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. And that's like that's been my like my little support system in every way. My journal where I write all my ideas, I write all my studies, and my Bible obviously is where I'm spending time with the Lord, reading to you guys, and obviously you guys, and then obviously all this stuff. And so I've decided I need to just revamp and just try to put more effort into making it look like I really believe God is going to do something new, and try and switch my head into that, because I feel like the last 2 years, especially because of work, and especially just this like juxtaposition of my old life and this life I'm living now, excluding the 2 years of me just being alone with the Lord, where we're going through the process, it's just been a lot of hard life lessons. And I do also attribute that partially to the prefrontal lobe thing. I really do think that, like, how I'm able to understand things and how my brain functions has really improved significantly since I was about 25, about 25. And so that's apparently the age. And also going through that experience is the other thing that's made me realize how detrimental and how much I really, truly do think this whole 18 equals adult thing is just so demonic. I really do think it's so demonic. And somebody said to me that I should look into where this age 18 thing even came from. But anyway, so today's videos are going to be absolutely insane, okay? I've got so many videos to record, and I really am praying that the Holy Spirit will give me the strength to record all of the titles that I've written for today, because I have had so many revelations last night, especially, because yesterday was really the day when I realized that, like, okay, I'm crashing out, I'm crashing in, and I'm going to just have to lock in and just, like, really keep digging deep with my faith, you know what I mean? Because it's the ghetto out here. And, so I went to sleep and I actually slept, which you might think is a good thing. It's never a good thing. I feel like it's never a good thing because I end up having all these dreams, and then it's like, even if they're positive dreams, like one of the dreams I'm about to tell you about, the other one I'm not even going to talk about. And one of the dreams is about one of my old friends, and this dream went on forever. I feel like crying thinking about the dream, because, the Lord was just showing me something. I feel like, because, a lot of times in my dreams, it feels like God is like trying to, it's like, it's almost as if like God is like grabbed my hand and been like, come, let me show you something. And then takes me to like, into my own self to then like show me myself. And it was one of those where I was just like, what I was seeing, I was just like, wow, I have so many issues. I have so many issues, so many of them. And it's just like, no matter how many I work through, it just doesn't seem to end, right? And I feel like that's obviously why Jesus died, because there will never be enough time for us to rectify everything in this life. There'll never be enough time for us to learn everything, even about the world. There will never be enough time for us to do all the calculations to figure out the perfect way of living or whatever. So praise Jesus for dying, so we just have access to God, straight access back to God. And, but we're not going to talk about that dream. I'm going to be talking about a different dream that I had, though, which was about me. There was a tiger and a lion, right, in this dream. Now, I have to tell you guys about this because it's just going to be insane, because this dream is going to factor in this lion and tiger thing. I'm going to do a video. But back in Samuel, David is finally king, and it's going to be titled something like Lions versus Tigers, Saul versus David, because I've learned a lot as a result, because you guys know, because sleep is so horrible for me. That's why it's good that I don't sleep very long, because I need about 3 hours to recover before I feel like I can do anything. And obviously I have to be up, for work and whatnot. And I try to record my videos before I go to get ready for work. So it's, anyway. So lions versus tigers. I'll just give you guys I'll wet your palates a little bit, because it's going to get so interesting, right? In my dream, and I still don't really get what was going on per se yet. Okay. So sometimes I'm like, should I really share these many details? And I don't really know what's going on, but listen, I'm surrendering. I'm totally surrendering to this process that the Lord is putting me through. And I'm going to hold up my end of the bargain. I said it's ironic, actually. I've just realized that I put on this lion ring, which I found. I've had this forever. I bought this a long time ago. Thought it was too obnoxious to wear. And it's funny because my surname means lion, right? And we're going to come to other things. So I always thought I identified with a lion, but there was always something that didn't quite click about lions for me, like the way they operate. So that's what's funny and about this dream, because I never really thought into tigers, because I thought, oh yeah, well, you're a lion, you know what I mean? Like, kind of thing. Turns out. So anyway, in the dream, and there's more connections to lions in my family. There's a connection with me and lions on both sides of my family. I'll get into the one on the other side in another video, because I've got so many videos coming out today, you guys. Do you know what? I'll tell you what the titles I have written down are. The titles probably change. I've got Lions versus Tigers, Saul versus David, as I said. How long was a day before Adam and Eve? Like, how long was a day? Because days are now 24 hours, which I believe is because of entropy. So I'm going to entertain the question of how long it was a day before Adam and Eve, right? Because the Bible said that God created the world in 6 days and he rested on the seventh. But then I started to think that what if some of these days God's talking about were billions of years? Because that could be an overlap between science and whatever. So that's another one. The difference between self-control and and fear, how the devil created religion, and what if what if Hollywood is trying to make Kai Cenat the next Diddy? It's so much interesting stuff, guys. So I really hope I get to these videos. There's one other one that I'm not going to say the title of because I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. So yeah, because I just had these revelations. So anyways, in this dream, I saw the tiger and there was a lion. I knew there was a lion, but I couldn't get to it. But I wanted to get to it because in real life, one of my dreams is actually in a perfect world, right? You guys know that I have this idea in my head of having a castle in Antarctica, right? Having this big castle in Antarctica, like a kind of like ice castle. I want it to be icy, like almost if I could have it made full of all of ice, right? And then there will be me with like my 9 huskies that are like my dogs. And I live there alone. I have like, it's very like kind of gothic and kind of, whatever, this castle. And then there's just me walking around in this silk red robe, you know what I mean? That's got like, that's got a fluffy rim in my little pointed red kitten heels. And, that's just how I go around with a golden chalice, that I drink from, and I sit by the fireplace and I game. And then when I'm interested, I go out ice fishing with my dogs and like just live this lifestyle. And I always wanted to include, if possible, a big cat, like have a few big cats. So just like me and just a bunch of like animals, like fierce animals, right? In this castle by myself. And then I would have like, whenever I need to pop down to Earth to get to the rest of the world, to get the things that I need, I'll pop down in a private jet, you know what I mean? And then jet back, you know what I'm saying? And just be living my life in this castle and just have the best, most incredible surround sound speakers, a grand piano, like, you know what I mean? Well, obviously I know that that's probably not going to be able to happen because there's so much work that has to be done, and God didn't put me on this earth to do nothing, even though that's what a lot of people are doing, as if God put them on this earth just to do nothing and then just die in your life. You didn't contribute anything to the progression of anything, really, right? So this is what I talk about in my book, about how it sickens me that parents are just having kids. You're not changing the world for the better in any way for them. So you're just basically giving birth to them for them to have to live in the next stage of entropy. But like, what was the point in having them if you're not doing something for their tomorrow to be better? Not just for you personally, but like in the world itself. So that's why I care about all these things like the education system or whatever, because I'm thinking this is the world that my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren are going to live in. So I need to contribute something. You know what I mean? I need to be able to say, I did my part, I did my thing. I made some kind of a change in the world. So it doesn't have to be the whole entire world, but at least in the community, or like, you know what I mean? So that's my vision. So I always thought it would be lions, but then again, something always felt a bit off about that. Incoming, so I have this dream. I'm looking for the lion in this house. I'm in like this house, but I'm like laying on the floor, and I don't really know why I was laying on the floor, but I was like down and out basically, which I honestly feel like that's how my body, that I feel like that's what I would look like if the Holy Spirit wasn't living within me, if the Spirit of life wasn't in me. I think I would be dead on the floor right now. I truly believe that. Right. And so I've been also making an effort to boost my health. So I just had some soup just now that I made a few days ago, so I can be, just trying to kind of, because I've realized I can't keep going on like this. That's basically what it hit me after this whole Italy thing. I was like, I can't keep living like this. I can't keep living in survival mode. I can't keep living on the edge of death all the time, like feeling like I'm just about surviving, feeling like I'm just about okay, like I'm one hair away from insanity at every moment, I feel like. So I see this, so I'm like laying on this ground and I can hear this, I see the lion, and I see somebody kind of like stroke this lion. And when they stroke this lion, it then goes out, they basically had kind of almost like put some kind of spell on it to go and kill somebody specific. So it actually just then leaves and walks past me to kind of go. And it was weird because its mane was also kind of like put down, and it was almost like it was representing that the lion was in like a controlled state, right? The more I'm talking about the dream, the more I'm starting to make sense now. Well, I kind of do know what the dream is about, to be honest with you, but maybe I'm just not ready to accept it, but yeah, to talk about it or to say it because it's crazy. So I'm like laying on the ground, And then this tiger comes over to me, and I'm looking at this tiger's looking at me, and I'm thinking, this is odd, because like I don't really think about tigers. Tigers have never been of interest. I've done lots of, research into lions. I even did that video about lions versus hyenas. I've since a long time ago, I even made a tattoo design, like years back, like with a lion. I was going to get a whole lion on my forearm, like whatever. I've always, I've got this lion ring. My favorite like Disney movies was obviously The Lion King. Like, so I've always had a thing for the lions. Again, I'm assuming that part of that must be because of the familial thing. It's part of my name, so I'm thinking that must be whatever. So anyway, so I see this tiger, and I'm thinking, what's the tiger doing here? I don't know anything at all about tigers. So this tiger, what it was doing is it would like bite my arm, right? And obviously I could feel it really, and it was quite painful, but it wasn't biting me to like hurt me. It was biting me to like pull me away, like kind of like how dogs do, like with their puppies, and they like kind of bite them to lift them and stuff. It was doing that, and it was bringing my arm, and it was bringing me away. So like I was trying to go and find this lion, and this tiger kept like pulling me away. But like the way the tiger was pulling me away, it was kind of looking at me, and I don't know how to explain that I knew that this is how it was looking at me. But this is part of the thing, because I feel like before Adam and Eve sinned, I feel like we used to be able to talk to the animals. That's why I feel like it's possible for me to have a big cat in my castle, right? Because also I haven't even told you guys, in my castle I'm gonna trick it out just like I would if I had my island, where I'll take all the unwanted children and all the good people, the good adults. I have this vision for that island, right? So I'll buy an island, I'll take all the unwanted kids, all the winning team, and we'll go there, we'll protect them and look after them and help foster them into, being able to live and thrive. But the key about that island would be my system, my security system. Now, my security system is a spherical thing. So there'd be like a completely spherical protective barrier that, and when I say spherical, that goes all around in the air of the thing and into the ocean as well. So that in all areas, we would be protected. And basically, if you cross a certain barrier of a certain distance, now I'd have to calculate all of this at the time. This is what I'd be thinking about, guys. This is why my brain doesn't shut down. But anyway, after a certain distance, right? If you get a certain distance close to this like spherical, rather than just like on radius, like it would have to be the full sphere, because we can't afford to then be getting down in the air. We can't afford to be getting in the ocean. We've got to protect this island everywhere, right? So I don't know how wide it would be. And then what would happen is, if you cross the barrier, immediately there'll be like a face recognition system that will see if you're one of the approved people to be on the island. And if not, boom, a huge nuclear weapon comes and blows you up. That is what I'm dreaming of. So I'd have a system like that around my castle as well. So like, you're not coming near these kids. Like, go away. Like, you're not bringing your funk to our island. You're not bringing your demons and your worldliness to my castle. Do you know what I'm saying? So I believe anyway that I don't know what to tell you guys about this, but this is what I've been thinking about. These are my dreams. These are my actual genuine dreams. So as I was so I believe that I could tame a big cat. I do believe it. I believe I could tame the big cats. I believe it. So just saying. And I'm honestly cool to take the risk. I'm cool to take the risk. I know I've lost it. This is what I'm saying. I'm not okay up here. What do you expect after the life I've lived? Just like the rest of us. None of us are okay up here. Anyway, so this tiger keeps pulling me away, and I was like, why does this tiger keep pulling me away? Anyways, I realized, because the tiger's looking at me, he's like, the tiger's trying to protect me, like I'm trying to get you out of harm's way. So the tiger's almost getting annoyed because it's pulling me over there, and then I'm going back, and the tiger's like, I'm trying to like protect you, and it's like pulling me over there. So then I wake up from this dream now, and obviously after about an hour of being annoyed that I decided to actually sleep, and that I actually slept, and all the dreams that I had, and then crying for a little bit, and then having a headache, and then having to just decompress and everything, right? I eventually was like, you know what? Why don't I look into the difference between tigers and lions? Again, like, this is what I mean when I say you got to be proactive in your relationship with the Lord. So I look into the difference between lions and tigers, and it's very quite fascinating, actually, because obviously lions exist in pride, and the main reason for that, it's because they don't actually live in jungles, right? So I've learned a lot this morning about lions and tigers, as you're about to see. they don't actually exist in prides. They don't exist in prides just because. The reason they do, it's like almost like a survival strategy, because they exist in open plains, like in like kind of more deserty, open plain kind of places. So they need to fight in groups, because unlike them, the tigers exist more like in the forests, and they also like to exist in the cold places. I was like, where have you guys been all my life? What do you mean you like to be in the forest and out in the cold? You don't mind being out in Siberia? Because then I looked into the Siberian tiger. That's another story, but we're going to talk about that in a different video. So I was like, oh, so for them, they prefer to be solitary because it's easy for them to hide behind the trees and the bushes. And funnily enough, because of animals, I'm not going to get into too many of the details, right? Because they've got dichromatic eyes, which we have trichromatic eyes, which is the new terms I've learned today. So dichromatic means you can see two of the primary colors. I think they see blue and yellow, whereas chromatic eyes is we can see three of the primary colors, i.e. red, blue, and yellow, or technically speaking, it should be, what is it? Cyan. What is the names? I forget, because we always used to talk about this in chemistry, because it's very interesting when you get into the colors and how our eyes and the light beams and why things have certain colors, not just in nature, but in life. It's so fascinating. And it's also to do with electrons and everything. Just listen, chemistry is king. Anyway, and so it just all got very interesting because I then discovered that. So that's why they're different. That's why tigers rather be by themselves, because it's easier for them to fight alone. Whereas lions need to be in a group, because otherwise there's just too much to be seen. Everybody can see them. But tigers are actually bigger. Tigers are actually stronger. Tigers can jump high. Tigers, if in a fight, so obviously the classic, if they were in a fight, there's only been two fights. There was two fights that were between tigers. One happened in somewhere in Africa. The other one was somewhere in I think it was a zoo in the Bronx, New York. And the tiger flipping won by essentially one gash to the flipping lion. So I was like, whoa. So I was just like, I've been sleeping on you, tiger. Like, do you know what I mean? I didn't realize that you had it down like that. And so anyways, yeah, I very much switched over to my tigress era, because I was like, this is so interesting, especially because everything I was thinking about, and just like how, you know, even the lion, I read this interesting article. Was it an article? I don't know. I read articles. I watched videos. I did so much because obviously I'm not going to sleep, am I? And I don't want to. And so I was looking into it, and wherever I saw it, I can't remember exactly, the person was saying that, what was I about to say? It was such a good thing. What was it? I remember that although lions are called the king of the jungle, first of all, they don't actually live in the jungle. Second of all, they kept using the term sociable creatures. They're very sociable creatures, which I thought that's really interesting, because maybe that's why I never really related to this whole concept, right? Of just like having this group of people that are all loyal together, because when the heck did that ever happen? All the times I tried to make that happen. So, so then I was thinking, oh, interesting. And then they were talking about how, technically speaking, what happens with the male prides anyways is, so like with the tigers, they all are solitary. They all go on themselves. The mums, they give birth, they live with their cubs for 2 years. The cubs walk with the mums. The dads are never in the family. And then once the cubs are 2, they're often they get ditched as well. So everybody's a lone ranger. That's kind of insane, right? But with lions, obviously, the male lion has to protect the territory. That's why the female lion, does the hunting to provide the food and looks after the cubs, and that's how they do their thing. But then also, once the male lion has created his pride and he's old enough, he also just screws off anyway. So that was just another interesting thing to think about. And so this guy was like, actually it was a lady. It was one of the articles that I read. So this lady was saying in the article, because I was reading about her afterwards, it turns out she's actually a teacher. Anyway, so afterwards, what was I about to say? So she was saying that, technically speaking, you could more argue that oh Lord, how does this work here? That the lions are more of a matriarchal system, despite and that arguably you could call them the queens of the jungle, which I thought was quite interesting. Just an interesting thought. Like, these are just interesting things, because again, I'm reading all these things and none of these sources I'm reading have any knowledge of anything that's happening in my life. So yeah, so that was that. So I was like, oh, this is so interesting. This is so very interesting to find out and to think about, because, you know, there's so much wisdom in creation itself. And is in, like, I always say, like, you know, I believe in this, one of the scriptures, it says, you know, that Solomon, he was the wisest and the wealthiest in all the land, right? This 700 wives, 300 concubines. But it also says he knew of all the plants and all the animals, which I think that was where he got his wisdom, because he understood creation, which is what led me to start to think, how long really was days before Adam and Eve? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to get too much into that. So that was the whole story, that and the whole story arc I went down. So now I'm still going down that rabbit hole, because I started to think about how Saul and David, they're kind of like a lion versus a tiger, because David was the solitary one out with the sheep, whereas Saul was there in pride, because that was my problem with the lions all along, has always been that word pride. Has just been my problem, that they called a pride. And it reminds me of how people take pride in being part of a group because they're black, because they're a woman, because they're rich, because they're whatever, right? But they don't have anything to be proud of within themselves, which I feel like is more a tiger thing, because they're like, hey, we're so powerful that we just don't even need to be like gaining extra pride from being part of some group. And I was like, you guys are hella gangster. And honestly, I'm inspired. So I'm grateful for that dream. The dream before had me just feeling away. So yeah, so that was how that went. So yeah, there's going to be tigers at the castle, basically, is the long and short of it. But on a serious note, yeah, I've been thinking about that, because I've been thinking about this concept that, you know, like, for real, if you think about it in the Bible, like, I actually need to just embrace, that's basically what I realized. I need to embrace the lifestyle that I am called to live, which is like, you know, if you look at the people in the Bible, the Davids, the Josephs, the whoever's, they always were some kind of like a solitary type of character. You know what I mean? There was always a high level of solitude, at least for a significant period, where they kind of figured a lot of stuff out for themselves, you know? And so it kind of just made me feel better about my life, because the dream before that I'd had was all about friendship, and it made me think that, you know what, I'm actually a horrific person to be a friend with. I'm just not a good friend, you know? And a lot of it is because of some of these things, like, that I relate to the tiger in. Like, I don't like feeling like I'm being held back. Like, I get annoyed when people, I get annoyed. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. I get really annoyed at like faithlessness and powerlessness and cowardice. Like, I remember one of the small things that bothered me, and it's not a big deal, but it's going to give you the example of why I'm telling you I'm a terrible friend. And I'm just calling it for what it is. I'm holding myself accountable. I don't want to make an excuse. I'm not making an excuse. I'm saying I'm a terrible friend, right? Which is why I'm going to be much more careful about imposing myself on people and stuff. I'm not imposing myself, but like choosing who I spend time around, you know? And I've really whittled my list down now to who I'm going to invest in. It's a very, very short list of people outside of members of the winning team, right? You know, but like, I remember one thing that really bothered me, and it's like one of those things that shouldn't bother somebody, but it bothers me because of my mentality of how I am. And I don't like to be around people who are not moving at the same speed that I'm moving at. One of my friends, yeah, she liked this guy, yeah, and they were like doing little flirty things, and she was doing that thing that some girls do where they kind of like just sit on the side and like kind of smile and like think that men are gonna like, they're not that smart. A lot of the things we think that they're paying attention to, they're not. You know what I mean? Like, and we do these little subtle things hoping they're going to wait and make a move. This is why you end up with me. You'll see, we'll come back to that. So she was doing one of them ones, and it was kind of annoying me when she was talking about it, because I was kind of saying to her, I was like, just go and tell him you like him. Like, just make a move. Like, make a freaking move. You know what I mean? Like, because like, what are we waiting for? Like, what are we waiting for? You like him, so what? If he doesn't like you, fine. Like, shoot your shot and like, let's see what happens. Which is ironic because, you know, anyway, so... yeah, so she, like, it went on for weeks and weeks and weeks where we were just talking about this guy. She likes him, but she's not making a move. And it started to actually annoy me, because I was like, oh my gosh, like, because I'm not going to be one of those, like, oh my gosh, how was it today? How was so-and-so? That will last about a couple of weeks from me. After that, I'm like, shoot your shot. Like, why are you not shooting your shot? And it started to make me lose respect for her. I was like, do you not have the courage to just do it? Like, and not to say that I have all this courage, but it's just like, if life's a game, like, go hard or go home. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This is why I always say to you guys, nice guys finish last. You know what I mean? In life, winning is for the taking. You have to like take the wins you want. You go and take them. You know what I mean? You don't wait for things to happen. You make things happen. I remember a guy came into the school. This one of these activities, you know, when they get experts of whatever to come into the school. I'll never forget something he said. This one was secondary school. He was like, in life, there's three kinds of people. People that watch things happen, people that make things happen, and people that wonder what just happened. And so I was like, from that moment forward, I was like, oh, I know I'm in the middle category because I ain't got time to be watching things happen. I got time to be wondering what just happened. I'm going to make things happen. You know what I'm saying? Because that's also what God called for us to do. You make stuff happen. You do. God gives us gifts and he gives us the Spirit. He gives us, Jesus died, you know, he gives us our gifts and talents so we can make things happen the same way he made things happen in the beginning. There was nothing. The world was without form and void. And God spent 6 days. And this is what I was thinking about. I was thinking about the lion and the tiger, about how God really was there, like a creative scientist, just creating all these creatures with all these different characteristics and all these specific things about them and like all these traits and what habitats, like he was creating, he was thinking, he was doing, you know what I mean? So yeah, that really annoyed me. So I lost respect for her after. I just gave up on the whole argument. In the end, like I just stopped talking about it because I'm obviously not gonna whatever, but it did bother me. I was like, just because I was thinking, just make a freaking move, how long are we gonna talk about this? And because you know what would have annoyed me, that's what I'm saying, that I can relate to what not wanting to be held back. What would have annoyed me, yeah, is if he ended up with somebody else and then she got upset. That's what would have really been the final straw. If he got with somebody else and she got upset, because even if she tried it and he wasn't interested, or they tried it and then ends up with somebody else, don't care. But she tried it with him and it didn't work, and she didn't try anything, and then he ends up with somebody else, she's upset. That would have been the end of it. That would have been the end, and I couldn't. So these are the types of things I can't stand around for. It's like, I remember another time with my friend, when I was at school, we were all going to do this thing, and we were all going to do this performance, this dance, right? And so the girls, same girls who were cussing me out on the first week of school, might I add, but anyway, in the year above. But fast forward, we're doing the dance show, and obviously we'd proven ourselves, because the year that we did our dance show, we did this whole 5-minute performance to the song Fight for This Love by Cheryl Lloyd. We gotta fight, fight, fight. It was so cute. And we had little leg warmers on, and we all had different colors. It was so cute. And then I edited it, so we added in the doom, 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 stop. What you looking at? Part from the X Factor performance, and it was a really good performance. And after that, everybody was putting respect on our names. Anyways, that was the girls, my friend group. By that next year, none of us are friends, basically. You know how it goes. Some of the other girls in the year above were like, hey, do you guys want to come together? Because they'd done a really cool dance to Oh Hot Damn, This Is My Jam. We keep on partying until the AM. Y'all don't understand. I can't remember the words, but it's called In the Air. So their dance was sick, right? I remember that dance. And so the next year they were like, should we like merge groups? I was thinking, this is sick. Some of my friends went on it. I was like, oh, we're not really sure if we want to do the dance show this year. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I said yes, and I teamed up with them, and the dance was sick. And then when we were there now in the rehearsals, one of my friends now tries to be like, oh, can I actually get involved? Where were you? What do you mean, can you get involved now? We've done the formations. We've done everything. We've been meeting up at people's houses, rehearsing. Like, are you kidding me? And that's what I'm saying. Like, so many times, like, I'm just like, why are we holding back? Why are we being held back? We ain't got time to be held back. That's why I loved when I was at uni and I had the friendship group that I had, my group, Chem Squad, shout out to them. Because we were all, even though we were all different, we had all different goals of why we were there, we were ruthless, like, about how serious we were all, that we were going to absolutely smash it. And that's why we were like a powerhouse as a team, like, to work together. And if not for those girls, I don't think I would have been able to achieve my degree with all the other things that I was doing, because that's how much everybody carried their weight in the team. And I carried my own weight because I was like, you know, we were all a little specialist or something. I'm the one who's really good at getting really accurate results. I'm very good at graph drawing. You know, like when you got to like do an experiment and you got the like graph paper with really, really tiny squares and you got to draw like a beautiful curve. You got to do whatever, and then you got to calculate. I'm really good with that, right? And it's all, the secret is a mechanical pencil, by the way, because then you can get a nice thin line and you can, and I love it. So I draw beautiful graphs, right? And that means my data comes out really good. My calculations come out super accurate. I'd get like 99.9 something, 99.5% accurate answers, and it was insane. And so we all had our different things. One of them, she was really good at the organic, chemical equations where you have to talk about, and then the electron went here and then this went there, and and then what the other one was. So we all had our skills basically, and we all brought them to the team together. So I kind of get where the tiger's coming from in that aspect. And I feel like this whole dream just made me feel like, okay, you know what? It's okay to be a bit of a lone ranger. It's not just always a problem. Sometimes it depends on your goal, because I've had to make the decision, like, is my goal in life to have some like vibrant social experience and just have a nice little pride to chill with and like do stuff with, like kind of like the lions? Or am I out here trying to like dominate? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where my double-mindedness has been, because on the one hand, I've been trying to do both, and it's just not possible. I have to exist with a small amount of, people that I'm close to. And then I've got to just attack life, because this is why I'm kind of hemorrhaging, and I'm not really succeeding, because I'm not fully sending either. I can't fully send the like social app round, because it's not good. It's not enough for me. I can't do it. Like, I can't go year after year and I'm just living it and I'm just enjoying just existing. That doesn't really work for me. Like, even with the people that I love, right? But on the other hand, I also struggle to just dominate because of what it costs you, because it's going to cost you solitude, because you can't have both at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, so that's where my head is at. So that's what happened in the dream. And so I'm going to talk more about this with a whole bunch of topics today, because that's what happened. And that's my life update. Like, I've just realized I need to stop trying to force something that I'm just not that person I once was. When the Bible talks about you become a new creation, and the old person of you dies and you become something new. It never occurred to me that like that old social side of me that was really social. I was very social at uni. I told you guys I used to have like 8 friendship groups, all different types of things. I was out every single night. I was out going to this place in Soho with this group, going to this bar and wherever with that group, going out for pizza with this group, going out to this activity. We're going to go to the gymnastics gym to just mess around with this group. You know what I mean? Going to play sports with this group, and like going to watch the football with this group. So it's like, I was very social, and it was fun, you know what I mean? But like, I just feel like that version of me, I've been trying to like reignite the old me, and I just realized that the old me is gone. And I just need to embrace that and not like keep villainizing it. And that everything that I've been through has helped me to become ruthless. And I want to be ruthless, because we need ruthless believers, because the devil is ruthless. The devil is ruthless. Jezebel is ruthless. So we need ruthless people on our side of the kingdom who are going to come out and tear things down. You know what I'm saying? Then tear things down in the world, and these are the prayers I'd be saying to the Lord, like, God, bring down Hollywood, bring down the kingdom of darkness, bring down everything that comes against your people, bring down, you know what I'm saying? These are my prayers. This is how I'll be praying. So why am I then trying to go and like, be like, hi, you know what I mean? And I know that because of the way I look, or I looked, people think I'm going to be one of those nice, lovely little homeschool moms and like making sourdough bread and then taking them down and obviously listen, that's why as well, because I've thought like, what kind of mother would I want to be? What would I want to instill in my children? I want them I want them to feel loved, but I don't just want them to feel loved. I want them to feel powerful. I want them to feel powerful. I want them to feel like there's nothing that can come against them in this world. I don't want them to feel like victims. I don't want them to feel like how I feel right now. I want them to, I want them to feel powerful. I want them to feel like whatever they want to do, whatever they want to achieve, they can do it. That's why I can't let them be in the school system. That's why I want to homeschool them. Not because I want to be some sweet little whatever, that a lot of people are trying to make me, or a lot of men have tried to mold me into like, I think you'd make such a good wife and we can go here on honeymoon. It's like, no. I don't even want to do that. If I was going to get married, what I would do for a wedding, I plan, if I was to have an actual wedding, I'm wearing a black wedding dress, by the way. Black. I'm going to be giving Morticia Addams. It's going to be black and it's going to be sexy, right? That's what I would do, because it's just not my energy. It's not that I'm trying to be dark. It's not that I'm trying to be gothic. It's just like, I'm just not like, the days of like, Jesus, it's like the lion versus the lamb aspect, right? And again, Jesus, the lion. And of course, the lovey-doveys, because God is so lovey-dovey. Sometimes I get sick of it. I'm not going to lie, because I'm like, God, it's enough with the lovey-doveys. Like, enough with the love, because he's just so in love with all of us, right? and everyone is just so in love and everything's just love. But then obviously I wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for his love, and I do love him, and I am, you know what I mean? But Jesus died as the lamb. Like, we're not supposed to still be these little lambs, like wondering where we're going. We're supposed to turn into the lion and the lamb. So Jesus died as the lamb. The lamb season ended when death was defeated. It is lion season. Do you see what I'm saying? Some of us can't participate necessarily in the pack the same way because we just don't really want to be there, because I just don't want to be held back. I don't want to be held back. Like, I don't want to, and I don't want to have to pretend. I don't have the confidence in myself that I actually have. And it's not that I have confidence in myself because I think I'm better than people. I have confidence in myself because I have confidence in the words of the Lord. When God says I was fearfully and wonderfully made, when the Bible says that Jesus defeated death so that I would have power, that's where my confidence comes from. And you see that in the Bible. When David steps out, and Jonathan and all these people, Joseph and all them, they step out not in their own power but in God's power. So I don't want to have to hold back. I don't want to have to be around Christians and dull myself down because we're still at the stages of wondering if the Holy Spirit is real and questioning, our faith. I just don't have the time. I'm 28 years old. I have got a very short time. We spend a very short time on this earth, and I haven't yet to do anything that impressive, in my opinion. I haven't impressed myself yet. And so I need to impress myself, and I need to impress the Lord, and I need to be able to leave my stamp. So when I get to heaven and I meet all these people and I see them and they did their part and they stood up and they had courage and they humbled themselves before the Lord, I can walk in there boldly and be like, hello, everybody, I did my part. Not walk up in there and be like, guys, I'm so glad it's over, but at least I made it into heaven. At least I crawled in there after I want to walk in there boldly. I want to walk in there boldly like it's like, hey, everybody else. Sup, Elijah? Hey, Rahab, what you doing? What you saying, Mary? That was crazy. Like, you know what I mean? I want to be able to feel comfortable amongst, the people of God who made a statement in the kingdom. And so that's where I just simply don't. I've wasted so much time in my life, some of the best years of my life, while I have all this energy and whatever, I've wasted trying to just dull back and whatever. So yeah, I'm entering my tigress era. And I love that for me, actually. I way love that for me. And I feel like a lot of you are in that kind of some kind of thing as well, because it's sometimes it's just what's required, because not everybody can make it to number one. I saw a video of this girl who beat Simone Biles to get the number one, and I was like, wow. The season has truly changed, because Simone Biles is amazing, and you saw her, she clapped, she was like, good, and it's like, yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. And so that's the other thing, like, we need to I can't be contaminated with, I need to get to heaven and be able, listen, I'm going to be there for eternity. I can't be walking around in eternity with everybody else, like in God's house, and be embarrassed that I just basically did absolutely nothing other than the friends we made along the way. When I get to heaven, I'll do that. Anyways, you guys, I'm so grateful for you all. I feel comfortable. I have you guys at the winning team. I'm friends with some of you guys as well. I have a few friends that I've made over the last couple of years. I feel like my life is complete. Okay, I feel like my life is complete as far as socialization at the minute. And I feel like I want to focus on the mission, because that's my thing. I'll be like hearing my phone go off, and I'll be like in the midst of like maybe reading the Bible or studying about this stuff. And then I'll be like, right now I'm at a position, I'm in a crossroads. Do I now switch off to go and like answer my phone and just talk about nothing? Or do I keep going down this track and like, discovering and like getting closer to whatever I'm trying to get close to? Because I'm trying to break into that damn promised land. Once I get in there, that's when I can do all the chilling and the vibing and the friends we made along the way. But until then, I need to stay just locked in, focused on the mission and the task at hand. Because I feel like, the devil likes to use good things as distractions, so using us wanting to understand certain topics in the Bible is good, but then it distracts you from the more important topics that you don't understand, like I've been talking about, or things that are good, like things like family and friendship, right, which are good, but then it becomes a distraction, which it is for a lot of people right now, because all they're thinking about, always spending your time doing, is looking after yourself and trying to look after your family and trying to look after, the people around you. Then that's all your life is about. You haven't got the time to do anything for the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, somebody at some point has to just make the uncomfortable choice and become the villain. So I'll be the villain. I'll be the problem. I know I'm a bad friend, and one day I'll be a good one once there is an actual world worth enjoying people with, because this world is as it is right now. It's not worth enjoying with anyone. even with the love of my life. It has to change before I'm going to sit back and be like, isn't it just nice to be here in this world with you guys? Because right now it's like we're not even there. Like a lot of the conversations I have with people, it's people complaining about the state of their lives anyway, or stressed anyway. Everybody's stressed anyway. So it's like, so maybe we should fix that first. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that. I said this was gonna be short, and you couldn't be. I should have just shut up and should have started getting to the line and the tiger thing. But anyway, now you know. Now you know. And now you know the things you know. So yeah, I've got loads of videos to come today. I really am ready to just record all day today. Well, until I have work, but you know, until as long as I can, I'm going to be recording, because there's just so much to tell and so much I've realized now about what's happening in so many different industries, and it's just all hitting me. And this is what I mean. The more I just lock in with the Lord, I go deeper. It just uncovers the enemy's plan more and more and more. And I feel like I'm finally getting to the point where I'm getting so into the details of what the devil is doing that we could actually prevent the next phase, because that's what I'm trying to do. When everything comes crashing down, that's about to come crashing down, I want us to be ready to anticipate what he's going to do next, so we can prevent him from planting the seeds that were planted decades ago in the previous generations that brought us to where we are today. That's my strategy. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, the way I'm doing it, because I'm like, let me anticipate, let me like keep like looking into the enemy's plan, because then it's like, oh, he's doing this, 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 he's doing this. Okay, so this is where he's going. This is why I'm going to, the videos that are coming are going to be so good. Anyways, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is so much fun, and I'm so excited to be here, and I love you guys so very much. You guys are the freaking best. You guys actually are the reason I'm a bad friend, because I'm like, well, I have the winning team. I'm all getting books because of you guys. Shout out to my girl who suggested I got this book. But you see, I'm getting book recommendations. I was getting sent books to my house. I get to talk to you guys on the thing, you know what I'm saying? Not to mention the fact that the greatest man of all time, my hero, may or may not have come to know me from the winning team. So this channel's just the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? Anyways, you guys, if life's a game, let's play to win. I love you all so very much, and I'm doing this for everybody, whether people get it or not. I think that's the thing that people don't understand, is that I'm actually, even though I'm doing things by myself, everybody will benefit, because if I make it into the promised land and we actually break through past the enemy, everyone's going to benefit, and then we're all going to have a party, and then I'm going to throw a party, because once all the work is done, I promise you guys, I'm partying for the rest of my life. I'm going to throw the greatest party you guys have ever seen in your life, and you're all invited, every single one of you guys here, except the snakes in the garden. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you, and I'll see you in my next one.